Yesterday, I got an email from a client who's been with us for 3 months saying that they don't think the program is working out for them and they would like to discontinue. So, the reason I wanted to make this video is I wanted to show you guys why it's so important to analyze what you're spending, what sort of leads you're getting, and in the end of the video, by the end of the video, you'll learn how you can really increase your return on your ad spend by 4 to 5 times easily just by tracking what sort of sales you're making. And I just want to make a note. This video is more relevant to larger limo companies who have a variety of different vehicles. I'm talking sedans, SUVs, stretch limos, party buses, mini coaches, motor coaches. Even if you just have two types, like let's say you've got, mini coaches and motor coaches, and then also stretch limos. This video is going to help you guys out. So this client is based in Minnesota, and they started on July 27th. And I'm not going to be naming any names. What you are looking at right here is a document that we downloaded from High Level. That's the CRM all of our clients use in order to keep track of their sales. And what you'll notice here is there's only 36 sales on here, which after speaking with the client, they do think there are more that were not logged, but all we have is the data we can work with right here. The total number of leads they received over the 3-month period, get this, 484 leads, 36 sales. There's something wrong here, right? That's like a 6 to 7% close rate, which just isn't enough. If you got 484 leads, I would like to see at least 100 sales. That's the benchmark I like my clients to shoot for, closing at least 20% of their leads. So what I wanted to do when I got that email yesterday is really dive in and figure out how can we improve their results? And that's going to be the plan. I'm going to give them a month where we really work on and work closely with getting them a better return on their investment, and then hopefully figure out what's going on with their sales, because they should be closing a higher percentage of their leads. So let's first start by looking at the different vehicles we're marketing for them. As you can see, I've broken these down into 3 different categories. So what we like to do at Limo Marketer is we have different campaigns that for different vehicles. So how Google and Bing Ads works is on the campaign level, you control lots of things. You control your location targeting, your bid strategies, but one of the most important things you control is your budget. So I highly recommend having different campaigns for the different types of vehicles you have. Now, this can actually get a little confusing, and here's why. If you use the keyword limo service, it is so broad, it really encapsulates so many different things. It could be somebody looking for a stretch limo. It could be somebody looking for a sedan or SUV. And so many times we will just have those all in the same campaign. So the keywords in the campaign, the main keyword will be limo service. And so that's why I group these all down here by the different vehicles. Having a campaign just for party buses, I think, is a good idea. And then we have another campaign that is like a charter bus / sprinter / transit van campaign, just all forward facing seats. And so what I went through and did here is lead value. That's actually their cash collected. That's how much revenue they brought in. Is I added up all the charter bus, sprinter van, transit van jobs, and I put that total here. All the party bus jobs, I put that total here. And then all of the stretch limo, SUV, sedan jobs, I put here. And the reason I did that is I know if someone searched limo service, there's a very high likelihood they're either looking for a stretch limo, SUV, sedan. Sure, is it possible they're looking for a party bus? It is, but I find that for the most part, people that are searching for a party bus search party bus rental, things like that. So these are the totals for each of those categories. And then here is the ad spend on each of these categories. And what you're going to notice is that the cash collected for the charter, sprinter van, transit van, $10,700, the ad spend was only $1,700 between Google and Bing for these vehicles, which is pretty crazy, because when you do the math, that means they have an over 6 times return on ad spend. And so I get the question a lot, what should my return on ad spend be? And by return on ad spend, I mean, if you're spending $2,000 a month in ads, I really like to see my clients get minimum 4 times return, meaning they're collecting 8,000, right? Not profit, just they're booking 8,000, but really that number should be closer to 10,000, because in this industry, you all have lots of expenses, as I'm sure you're aware. You've got your overhead, you've got your cost to deliver, chauffeur, fuel, you've got your fixed costs, your insurance, things like that. And so really you need to be getting 4 to 5 times return on ad spend to really make online marketing make sense for your business. And so out of all of these, it's pretty clear what the winner is, right? The charter bus, sprinter, transit van with over a 6x return on ad spend. And so that is one of the things that I am going to be suggesting to this client, that we definitely want to pause party bus stuff. We might be able to do a little limo, SUV, sedan, but we would really have to improve this a great deal. And so what I would suggest for this client is this. They want to spend about $100, $110 a day. My suggestion is going to be we spend as much as we can for these types of jobs, which, by the way, in their market, we might not be able to spend $100 to $110 a day just on these types of leads. If we have leftover, maybe we just don't even spend, we just spend as much as we can on these, and then they go with a lower package, and so we're charging them less as well. That might make the most sense for them. Or if they want to stay spending around that per day, $100, $110, we put the leftover here. And so in talking with them and going through all their leads and actually going through each of these contacts, because the great thing about using a CRM like High Level is we go in and we can see all of their text messages, their emails, we can see their phone calls, inbound and outbound, as well as the call recordings. So we can see when they get the lead and then how long it takes them to follow up. And here's what we noticed. In the morning before 9 a.m. and in the evening after 5 p.m., the follow-ups really weren't happening, until the following day on the evening. And in the morning, they would take an hour or two, or sometimes longer, to follow up. And I know that that just doesn't work. Okay. You need to have a very immediate follow-up. I'm not talking an hour. I'm talking really preferably under 5 minutes. Now, this is especially important if you're doing airport transfers, things that are lower cost. Now, if you're doing charter buses, things like that, it's not as important, I found, but you still want to follow up quickly. What I found is the most important is you don't want to just send a text quote. Okay. You can do that if you can't get them on the phone, but I highly, highly recommend calling every single lead you get, especially if you are doing higher dollar, higher ticket stuff. I mean, look, they have this one job that's $4,600, right? That's worth picking up the phone. I mean, these other jobs, $1,300, $1,200, those are all worth a phone call. And many times there are logistics that come into play with that big of a job, right? And it can't just be done by sending a text message. So when I said that, what I heard back is, Mark, we try to call lots of these, but one of the issues is they were not calling from the app. So unfortunately, when we go in, we can't see what time they made that outbound call. That's important because we need to track how long it takes someone to make a call and whether they even made the call. Because if you can't see it in the CRM, it might as well have never happened. So that's number one, getting their whole team to use High Level to make outbound calls through High Level. Number two is doing the double dial. And so most of our industry, I would say almost all of our industry, doesn't do this. So the double dial, it's common in real estate and in industries where sales and phone sales are very important. A double dial is pretty much you call them and assume a lot of people aren't going to pick up, right? They don't know, they might not recognize the number. Now, just brief note, what we do is we send a text out as soon as they request a quote that says, we are going to be calling you from this number, right? So they do know, they get the text, right? But if they don't answer the first time, do a second phone call. It's worth it. Most people will answer the second time, right? Don't just try once, hang up and try again. Many times they will answer the second time and it is worth it. So this company got, I believe it was 102 phone calls, 102 calls, and they had 484 leads. So that means they had 382 form leads. And as you can see, they closed more phone calls, but by a decent margin. And so I guarantee you this, if they start calling every one of their leads religiously, doing it through High Level, doing the double dial if they don't pick up, they're going to get a hold of way, way more people. What we're also planning on doing is we're not going to do the weekends anymore. We're going to stop doing the weekends and we're starting during normal business hours. Now, if you run campaigns for buses, mini coaches, motor coaches, for any sort of client that are corporate clients, business clients, I recommend, especially if you have a very limited budget, run your ads Monday through Friday during business hours in your time zone. And the reason I recommend that is, well, it's pretty obvious, right? There's a higher chance it's going to be businesses searching for your things. So what are the drawbacks to that? Because there are some. Your leads will cost more. It could be 10, 20% more per lead. because those are the times that pretty much every business runs their ads, and therefore you're going to pay a bit of a premium. But I'm telling you, it will be worth it because number one, higher chance that a business will be calling, and then number two, your staff is going to be more responsive, obviously, right? Because especially for larger companies, many times the after hours staff or whoever handles the phones, they're not going to be as hungry to close these deals. And then finally, one thing, when this company first signed up, them being a bigger business, I spoke with them and I spoke with the owner, director of operations. I said, look, guys, I've worked with a lot of larger companies, and I find the same issue with all of them is they don't put one person that handles this, that's responsible for this, and they try to get the whole team to get on board, which is not easy, especially when you're using new software. So what I said is you want to have one point of contact, one person responsible for making this work. And they thought they could make it work with several people, and their first month they were doing better, but eventually, as you can see, 7% close rate. That's not very good. So they have agreed to just go back to using one person. One person will be responsible for all of this. So when we combine all of these things, doing the double dial, following up right away, calling from high level, running their ads just Monday through Friday during business hours, having, the one person responsible, cutting out all party bus stuff, just spending as much as we can on charter bus, sprinter van, transit van, type keywords, maybe putting some of the leftover into the stretch limo, SUV, sedan stuff. When you combine all of this, I believe their ROI could increase by 5x, if not more, because each one of these things will cause a 10, 15% improvement. And when you add them all together, I guarantee they are going to be returning, hopefully, overall more like a 6x overall return on ad spend, maybe even higher if they really implement these things. So anyways, guys, for those of you watching this that are larger limo businesses, I highly recommend, if you're doing Google and Bing ads and you have an agency and they're just doing one campaign, I promise you, you are leaving a lot of money on the table. If you're not using a CRM and tracking your bookings, right? And what sort of vehicles are getting booked, you're leaving money on the table, because what we want to do is we want to analyze and see where's the money being spent, and then how much money is coming back to us for those different categories. And we want to have different Google and Bing ads campaigns for each different category of vehicle, right? So that way, if we find out, like this company found out, that party buses, the leads, they were getting lots of them, but they just were not closing. And so we can just pause all that, reallocate the budget to the stuff that's getting the high return on ad spend. And just if we did that alone and nothing else, I guarantee you they would see a much, much larger return. But when we combine all of these different things, I really do believe they could see a massive, massive increase. So thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. I see there we get a lot of people watching these videos, but not a very large percentage of them are subscribers. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you on the next video.